Hi everyone, Shannon with Apogee the Moon, and this weekly forecast is from November 30th, which happens to be the lunar eclipse, through December 6th. So, eclipse season, rocking and rolling, it's fun times. So, the funny thing is that eclipses, and that's really what I'm going to be talking about for this week, is the eclipse itself, and for each sign, and the potentials, because really eclipses are about potentials. It's a gateway, it's a portal into the future, pretty much. If you know, it's not that it can feel destined, it can feel fated, it can feel karmic, and this one is definitely no exception because the ruler, yeah, we'll get into it. Let's get into it. So, there we go. So this eclipse is happening on November 30th, and it's at 8 degrees of Gemini. On the same day, pretty much what they call the ruler of the eclipse is what it would be, is Mercury, because it's in Gemini. And Mercury is going to be in sextile to Saturn on the same day. So it really, what this is this is kind of like a karmic knot that needs to either be undone, right? Like undone with the karmic knot, or it's the tying up of loose ends to move forward. Because this lunar eclipse is with the North Node. The North Node is where you're going and what you're doing. So this can be a completion. This can be a letting go of. This can be a wrap up, what's the word I'm looking for? A manifestation. It can be a manifestation point, right? So full moons they are completion points or manifestation points, or they're things that need to be let go of. And so the good thing about this full moon eclipse is that the ruler is Mercury, like I just said a few minutes ago, and it's in Scorpio. So Scorpio is very deep, very enigmatic, very discerning. And it's making a sextile, its last aspect to the Capricorn stellium on this day to Saturn, right? It's a sextile to Saturn. So this really brings up the whole concept of karma. And the reason I say that is because technically Saturn is like the ruler of karma. And if you have planets or points in the mutable signs, especially, with this eclipse in Gemini, especially in Gemini, either around 8 degrees of, or 8 or 9, I'd say I'd give it an orb of like maybe 2 degrees on either side. So 6 degrees to 10 degrees of Gemini. And then I'll make it tighter for the node itself, because we are going to have another eclipse at 19 degrees next summer. But right now, this is where the nodes are, is at 19 degrees of Gemini and Sagittarius. So I would say 17 to 21 degrees of Gemini, kind of make it a little bit of a tighter orb. If you have any planets or points at those degrees, then what this can feel very fated, feel very karmic, feel like there's something that's coming to fruition, or there's something that's coming in that's new, that will be very long lasting. So the moon is also very close to its apogee point, because right now the apogee is in Taurus. So in the constellation of Taurus, or the sign of Taurus, however you want to say it. So the moon moves from perigee to apogee, back to perigee again, every time it goes around the zodiac, as it goes around the earth, right? So it's the moon has this push-pull effect, and it controls the tides, and it, people say that it controls emotions, it controls events and things like that in the body. And I mean, we are, the vast majority of this planet and our bodies themselves are water. So yeah, it makes sense if the moon has a pull on tides, it's going to have a pull on people. Now, the moon will be close to its apogee point, or the farthest from the earth that it can go. So this eclipse would be a mini moon eclipse. So, I mean, that doesn't mean that it won't manifest in very profound ways, because Mercury is the ruler and it's moving into a sextile on the same day. That makes that whatever is surrounding this eclipse very long lasting, very grounded, very, very karmic. So it's almost like sticky glue, right? Like, because Saturn very much has that hold, that kind of, you hold on to things very long, or it takes a long time for it to develop. And my cat is deciding that he wants to make his presence known. So because the moon is at apogee, this letting go or this manifestation is more of a logical one. It's more of a logical process, not just because it's in the sign of Gemini and it's ruled by Mercury, but because the moon is very close to its apogee point, which means that it's not a super emotionally tumultuous time. It's it's very much a natural logical process, and that can also be seen with the sextile from Mercury to Saturn on this day as well. So there's practical daily effort involved with Saturn in its home sign of Capricorn. And Mercury still being in Scorpio is there's depth to it, there's discernment to it, there's very much getting to the bottom of things. I'm sorry, I need to take a drink here. So nothing is by chance, right? Because what is chance? Chance is but the law not recognized. Now, that being said, you can stay open to what's happening around this eclipse, and it only comes around, once every, really with the North Node, it's only going to come around once every 18 years. And with Saturn and Jupiter, later on in December coming into their conjunction in Aquarius, another air sign, this is a 20-year cycle. So that being said, you have to remember that you have free will. You can choose. Eclipses are nothing more than choice points and portals into the future. So with all of these things that are happening, you have a choice. Gemini also, the duplicitous nature of Gemini, you have a choice. You can choose to go one way, or you can choose to go the other. And it's all in a matter of where that logic is coming from and how you deem your life, you want your life to look like going forward. So keep that in mind when you're making your choices or choice around this eclipse, that it's not going to happen again for another 18 years. There will be eclipses again in about 9 years on the same access point, but it's going to be reversed. The North Node's going to be in Sagittarius. So just be mindful of that. So then later on in the week, after this eclipse happens, Mercury will be moving on December 1st into the sign of Sagittarius. So it's joining the sun, and Sagittarius as a sign is very lucky, it's very jovial, it's very optimistic, and Jupiter rules Sagittarius. However, Mercury itself does not do so well in Sagittarius, because Mercury is about those finite details. Mercury is about all those little details that make up the big picture, not the big picture itself. So Mercury is more, if you want to put it in a different way, it's Mercury's about the trees, not the forests. Okay, so Mercury can kind of get lost here in Sagittarius. However, later on into the month, it's going to come into a cazimi with the sun. So we could see some really deep insights and clarity around that big picture view with the sun here in Sagittarius and Mercury coming into the heart of the sun, which is the cazimi point, which is an exact conjunction by degree. 17 minutes on either side of that, 16 minutes depending on who you are. So anything that's really not totally clear from this eclipse, you could gain more insight later on this month as Mercury comes into that cazimi point with the sun. So moving on, Friday, Mercury will come into a trine with Chiron, just like the sun did this past week. I think it was on Thanksgiving, actually, in America here. It was Thursday that the sun came into a trine with Chiron. And for that one, things probably came up for people. Things probably, and I mean, I saw it on my social media accounts. I saw some people, posting some things and some hurts and some wounds. And the other things. Come on. No. Stop meowing you. What are you doing? I don't know. He wants to be an astro cat, must be. So, whatever came up for you around that time, what did you notice? What did you notice when the sun came into a trine with Chiron? What did you see? What came up for you? What triggered you? Did you feel as if, one of your deepest wounds was exposed? Did you feel like a healing was happening where you brought something out and people validated you or validated your process or validated the wounds that you've been carrying for so long that now you can put them to bed and put them down? We can gain clarity and insight on this day, on Friday, as Mercury comes into a trine. And mentally, we can see the big picture of how this has affected us over the course of, the last several months, the last several years, even decades. So now we have more insight with this trine to Mercury, or this trine to Chiron from Mercury, of what we need to heal moving forward and, where we are to where we want to be. So there is that. And then on Saturday, we have Venus coming into a trine with Neptune. And so while I do love Venus in trine with Neptune, Venus is not really acting like herself right now. Venus is in Scorpio, and I kind of relate Venus because she is in her detriment. She rules Taurus. Scorpio is the opposite sign. Or did I say that right? Taurus, she rules Taurus. Scorpio is the opposite sign to Taurus. So it's her fall position. She's at the farthest point from one of her home signs that she can get. So she's kind of like a prickly pear in Scorpio. That's how I see it. She volleys between the power and control dynamics and wanting to get into all the senses, but she's in all the intense feels at the moment, right? So she is good with money when she is in Scorpio, albeit, she's a little bit guarded, she's a little bit stingy, she's a little bit like very discerning about where her money goes and what her money is doing. She really hones in on that power dynamic with money because Scorpio is a sign about money. It's a sign about other people's money and whatnot. So there is that. So, I would say use this as an understanding of the monetary structures that we have in the world and understand how you can position yourself to feel safe and secure with the money that you have, and understand where you need to put that money and what you need to invest that money in, because Scorpio is also about investments. And this can see people realizing, who the other person is in terms of relationships. This is other people as well. And this, maybe you've been struggling with power and control in your relationships. And maybe one person has all the power and one person has all the control. And the other person is, as I said in my weekly written, is that they're holding on for dear life without a tethering rope, right? So this can see us gaining an understanding of the financial power and control over the masses and over our individual lives as well. And this can be, you know, the powers that be kind of hiding in plain sight the monetary systems that are coming forth, and the changes that are going to happen. The thing with hiding in plain sight, though, is that there are some people that will notice, and those people will generally tell others. So I would definitely say, you know, keep an eye on the markets, keep an eye on the stock market, keep an eye on, you know, gold and silver, platinum, palladium, palladium. It's what they use for computers. So you could see changes happening, and Bitcoin, you could see changes happening with the monetary systems as well. So that is that for the general energy of the week. So let's get into the actual play here. There we go. So for Aries and for Aries rising, this full moon eclipse is happening in your third house. So what this is asking you is, this is asking you to release a mindset or to complete a third house thing. So for Aries and for Aries rising people, well, rising in particular, this can see you changing your mindset on something. This could see you letting go of outdated beliefs, outdated communication styles. This, I mean, this could also be vehicles in the more like practical, like tangible things, physical things. This could see you maybe moving communities as well, or moving within your community in a different way. This could see, sorry, I'm just thinking my husband's an Aries sun, and I'm thinking about what's going on for him because there's some interesting stuff. So anyway, so this is like how you move within your community. This is your siblings. This could be maybe even finalizing a deal with a sibling if that's something that you've been working on, you know, depending. This could be, you know, it's your third house. This is how you think, how you speak, how you communicate. It rules your siblings, it rules your cousins, it rules your extended family members, it rules, you know, your vehicles, it rules how you travel or what you do in the community that you're in. So that could definitely be changing for you. You could have an opportunity, you could have something coming with maybe something to do also with your career, because Mercury is in your 8th house of other people, and it's in a sextile with Saturn in your 10th house. So this full moon eclipse, even though it's happening in your 3rd house, this could really be about what it is that you do out in the world and the contracts and agreements that you have. That's more 7th house, but it's still there, right? Because Mercury is in your 8th house. It's making its final trine to Saturn. So this could see you involving other people, or like I said, I mean, really, this sticks out to me as doing business with a sibling or an extended family member, and really getting into working with someone else, and maybe even changing your career, and going into that partnership and working with or for someone in your family. I mean, that can happen. So for Taurus and for Taurus rising, this full moon is happening in your 2nd house. So your 2nd house is about your finances and your possessions, your values, the things that you place value on, and your personal value, your self-value. So for Taurus risings, this full moon could see you letting go of things that maybe are detrimental to what you value in yourself, or this could see you deciding that you're going to change up what it is that you value in general. Maybe, I mean, especially with Uranus, you know, going back and forth for the next few years. If you're an early degree Taurus rising and this full moon is in your 2nd house, this can see you really releasing and letting go of some type of contract and going more towards your own, standing on your own and making your own money, as well as, you know, maybe signing contracts and agreements with someone from a higher institution. This could be people deciding that they're going to go to college even, or get that higher education. I know it's second house, but you got to remember Mercury is in the 7th house for Taurus rising people. And it's also in the 9th house of teaching. Maybe you sign an agreement to teach. Maybe what you value with that second house, with Mercury in your 7th house. Yeah, this is signing of agreements. I mean, that's exactly what this is. This is either getting married and like, it's almost like possessing, right? Like you're possessing someone, not like in the weird, like paranormal kind of way, but like you are taking possession of that contract and that agreement, and you know, it's changing how you value or what you value in partnership with other people. And I mean, it could be a teaching contract, as plain and simple as that, you know, because you can't just look at where this full moon is happening and where the nodes are, but you have to also look at where the ruler is and what the ruler of the full moon, new moon, whatnot, where it is and what it's doing and the aspects that it's making. So this is really going to see Taurus rising people letting go of outdated value systems or even possessions, and getting a sense of what it is going forward that they truly value about themselves, and what value they're going to place on things going forward, whether or not it's possessions or whether or not it's that self-worth. So, and this is also money that you make from your own effort. So it could see, like I said, with Mercury and Scorpio in your 7th house, making that final sextile to the 9th house, this could see you signing a teaching contract with someone. I mean, that's definitely what could be coming in for you for a Taurus rising person. So for Gemini and for Gemini rising, this is happening for you. This is your sign. This is you walking away from or letting go of an outdated belief system or an outdated way of being. With Mercury in your 6th house, in a sextile to Saturn in your 8th house, I mean, this could see you letting go too of something to do with your daily routines or something to do with a health regimen that you've been working on. All right, there's weird noises that keep happening behind me. I don't know if it's one of my kids or the cat. So, and it's early too, so kids shouldn't be up yet. This could see you letting go of you yourself physically letting go of a routine, or physically letting go of, you know, an outdated way of being or moving through your day, with Mercury being in your 6th house in Scorpio in a sextile in that with Saturn in the 8th house. This could see you letting go of even traumas and past experiences and whatnot to move forward with a completely new way of being. Maybe your body has changed over the course of the last, you know, several months, with, you know, people being on lockdown and deciding that they're going to take their health in their own hands and working out and getting their diet the way it needs to be and whatnot. And so this could see you letting go of that outdated way. You're going to go in a new direction and your body's going to change because of it, you yourself. So this can also affect all other aspects of your life depending on where your rising sign is in Gemini, and where your midheaven and IC is as well. This could affect every aspect of your life and a completely new outlook and a completely new way of being for you. For Cancer and for Cancer rising, this full moon eclipse is happening in your 12th house. And so this is a karmic release of anything from the past, anything from a past life, any solitary or seclusion type things that have happened over the past several years, or the past, this past year in general. This could see you really letting go of an outdated way or modality of anything. Like, this could be your ashrams and your yogas and your solitudes and where you go to get away from the world. You could see letting go of some aspect of this part, of this hidden part of yourself, to be more in authenticity with yourself as well, and what you do on the daily, with the sun in your 6th house. So with Mercury, though, Mercury is in your 5th house. So this is romantic partnerships, this is children, this is play, this is everything that you find fun. So even though, Mercury rules your 12th house, Cancer, it's in your 5th house. So it's depending on where your rising sign is, if you're an end-degree Cancer, this is in trine with your ascendant. The ruler of this full moon is in trine with your ascendant. So it's offering you support. It's offering you, the good things and the sexy romances and the fun with the play, with the children. And in sextile to Saturn, which is on your descendant, this could see some Cancer rising people's, maybe even, if you're a man or a woman, a man or a woman, today, who knows, right? You could see, this could be changing your contractual obligations. This could see you partnering with someone. This could see you getting married to someone. This could, yeah, definitely. I see that. This could be a proposal, either from you to another person or from someone to you. This could be a contractual agreement with someone, either a business partnership or maybe even clients for you, because, that 12th house is being really activated with this full moon. It's not just a letting go, it's a culmination point as well. So if you have a spiritual business, or you have something where maybe you do things behind the scenes for someone else. Okay, sorry. So maybe this is you doing something for someone else behind the scenes, and it's a contractual agreement, but it's something that you find enjoyable. It's something you find fun. It can be very long lasting as well, especially with Saturn in that 7th house. It's the ruler of your 7th house. So this can be like that sticky glue that is going to offer you the opportunity to work someone for the long term, and really understand, especially because Scorpio is your 5th house, really understand what it is that you need to do mentally, because Mercury, right? Mercury in Scorpio is very discerning. Mercury in Scorpio is very deep, is very focused. And with that sextile to Saturn, in your 7th house, and this eclipse happening up here, it's not just one area of your life that's affected with eclipses, it's also wherever the rulers are. So the ruler of this is in Scorpio, in sextile with Saturn, but it's also in a wide sextile with Jupiter, which rules the south node, of maybe something from the past coming back for you, of how you are showing up in service. So that's what I want to say. Like, I know I'm kind of making it more complicated, I think, but I really want people to get a full picture of what this eclipse could offer them. There's that. So for Leo and for Leo rising, this full moon eclipse is happening in your 11th house. This eclipse is happening where your social standing, right? What groups you're involved in, what organizations you belong to, this is internet as well. This is the people that you surround yourself with by choice. This is your friends. And so even though this is a full moon eclipse, which is completion and finalization and letting go, it's with the North Node, right? So this could be you releasing fear, right? Full moons are very emotional, but it's very close to the apogee point. So it's not like it's going to be difficult or highly emotional to let go, because the moon is farther away from the earth. So it doesn't have as much of an emotional turmoil as, you know, it would if it were at perigee, which is at its closest to the earth, right? So with this full moon in your 11th house, this could also be a culmination point or completion of something that you've really been working on, and some type of social standing that you've been really wanting to attain and achieve. And now you're seeing it start to bloom. You're seeing the first indications of something happening here. So you do have the ruler of this North Node eclipse, which is Mercury, in your 4th house of what's happening behind the scenes, what's happening at home, what it is that you're coming home to, in a sextile with Saturn, which is in its home sign, ruling your 6th house of how it is that you're showing up in service to other people. So that being said, with this eclipse happening up here in that 11th house, with the ruler of this eclipse in your 4th house, this could show you maybe working from home and working for someone else that owns a company, or working for a company from home, because there are a lot of people right now that, you know, are working from home because of all of these lockdowns, especially, you know, over the internet, because the 11th house is the internet. This could see you really revamping your home space to show up in service to someone else, and or changing up your daily routines to include something else. It's going to make your life a lot better, a lot easier. It's going to change up your health. It's going to add value to, you know, what it is that you're doing. Because also Mercury is in a wide sextile with Jupiter. Jupiter, you know, is its luck, its expansion. But there's kind of like a letting go with that South Node of any fears that surround the things that you love to do as well. So with this full moon happening in your 11th house, this is a culmination of completion. It's the internet. This is, you know, your social groups, your friends, the people that you surround yourself with by choice. And really, because it's at apogee, it's very much that logical thought process of understanding, okay, if then, right? So go Leo. So for Virgo and for Virgo rising, this eclipse is happening in your 10th house. So Virgos, this is a culmination point. This is very much, this could see you letting go of a career to move into something else, because you do have the ruler of this eclipse in Scorpio in your 3rd house of your siblings, of your community, of short distance travel, like how you travel within your community. This is, I mean, Mercury also rules you. So this eclipse has a little bit more, for Geminis and for Virgos, this eclipse has a little bit more oomph to it, because it's Mercury. It rules you, it rules your midheaven. So this, this is good for you. This could see you really mentally understanding what it is that you need to do because of that creative endeavor that you've been working on with that 5th house of Capricorn, right? So Mercury will be coming into a sextile with Saturn, Mercury sextile Saturn in Capricorn from Scorpio. So Scorpio is your 3rd house of how you think anyway. And with this eclipse happening up at the top of your chart, this could see you changing what it is that you do out in the world. And this is an opportunity. This is a portal into the future, because you're going to be having, you know, that Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in your 6th house of how you show up of service. So right now, though, this is a portal. This is an opportunity for you to make that decision, or for something to come in, something to be offered from that 3rd house of how it is that you're communicating. and what it is that you find creative and fun and joyful. Because now that Saturn has, you know, been in its home sign of Capricorn for a while now, it's going to be moving out. You're going to find joy again. You're going to find that play, maybe even have kids, you know, or you've had kids and it's felt more like more work than what, you know, it's been worth, but you're gonna reap the rewards. It's gonna be long lasting, and you have the opportunity to really excel at that top part of your chart if you can change something mentally, physically, about what it is that you're doing out in the world. And this has, you know, this has long-term implications for you, which is amazing, Virgo. So for Libra and for Libra rising, this full moon eclipse is happening in your 9th house. So this could see Libras really changing their big picture view of the world around them. This could see Libra rising people, because this is in trine with your ascendant and in sextile with your descendant. This could see you really changing what it is that you believe to be true, right, and just in the world, and changing your belief system and letting go of an old belief system because of what's happening with Mercury, which is the ruler of this eclipse, in your 2nd house, in sextile with the 4th house of what's happening, what it is that you're valuing at home behind the scenes. So this could see a lot of Libra risings deciding that maybe, like, 2nd house is the effort that you put in to make your money. It's your money, your physical effort to make money. This is your value. This is your possessions. This is what it is that you truly value in the world. And then the 4th house is the home. This could see you buying a home. This could see you selling a home. This could see you moving, especially because it is 9th house, right? And then Mercury, which is the ruler in the 2nd house of possessions, in a sextile with Saturn in the 4th house of home and family. This could also see you relying on your family more because you need that help, because maybe things are getting a little intense for you, things are getting a little more burdensome for you. Maybe it is that you're deciding to start a family with Saturn Jupiter conjunction in your 5th house coming up later in December. You're having a family, you're starting a family, you're settling down, you're getting married, you're doing all these things, you know, and something about what it is that you believe to be right and just in the world is changing, and it's expanding, or there's a belief system that you're letting go of in order to come home to what you want to come home to and the value system that you have. So there's that for Libras. For Scorpio and for Scorpio rising, this full moon eclipse is happening in your 8th house. So this is a culmination point for Scorpio risings. This is, you know, this could be a letting go of any outdated kind of issues surrounding other people, or other people's money, or other people's value systems, you know, because it is the 2nd house from the 7th. So this could see you with this 8th house eclipse culminating, and there's something that's happening that you yourself are going to, like, because Mercury, the ruler of this eclipse, is in your sign. It's in your 1st house. This is you mentally deciding to take action on something to do with that 3rd house theme, with your small business, with how it is that you show up in your community, what it is you're doing in your community, what it is you're communicating, right? Because Mercury does also have that. And with Mercury in a sextile to Saturn, being that it's the ruler of this eclipse up in your 8th house, this could see you working with someone else, and it's going to be very cathartic for you. It's going to be very, I want to keep using the word healing for the 8th house, but the 8th house, I mean, this is our traumas, our wounds, but also our healing as well, and where we can find healing. This is also psychologically, 8th house is very busy right now, especially with the North Node there. But this can also see you working with someone like maybe like a business coach or, you know, something like that, where you are working on what it is that you're communicating, working on what it is that you're doing and saying and thinking and speaking, especially with Mercury in your sign in a sextile to Saturn, and how you approach things, right? Because there's a letting go or a culmination or a completion that's happening in that 8th house, where you're releasing the worry and releasing the emotional attachment. You're being much more logical with that 8th house theme of where it is that you come up against or come up with or merge with other people. And it has to do, like, if you have a small business, Saturn is in your 3rd house, really revamping and refining that 3rd house theme for you. And with Mercury being in your sign, it's definitely got your mind working and being very decisive and very focused and very deliberate about the decisions that you're making going forward. So that's for Scorpio. Whew. Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. This full moon is beautiful for you. This is a karmic, I love this. So this is a karmic completion for you with your 7th house. This is you finalizing, wrapping up, finishing something, and or releasing fear, right? Because the moon is our emotions, and at full it's really heightened, but this moon is at apogee. So there's more of a logical feel to this full moon. There's more of you being very discerning, very logical about what it is that's happening for you in partnership. There could be a letting go of a partner, or there could be a merger. Like, you could be either proposed to, or you could be proposing to someone, to that 7th house where it's contractual. This could also see clients. This could see business partners. And with the ruler of this eclipse in your 12th house, really getting deep and really understanding what it is from the past that needs to either be let go of, right? Because the 12th house is our past, it's our past lives, it's our past karma, it's where it is that we are pulled away from the world, where we are in solitude. And with Mercury here, your mind has really been on what it is that you want to do with that 7th house of contractual obligations, with partnerships, with clients, with significant others, even marriage partners, in a sextile with Capricorn, it's not a thing, with Saturn in Capricorn in your 2nd house of what it is that you truly value. So you're getting a deeper understanding of the deep psychological, socio-emotional, I want to say, issues that you have, and what it is that you need to change with your value system, or what it is that you value, and deciding what it is that you're going to do with the money too as well, because this is a money house. The 2nd house is a money house. And with this eclipse happening with the ruler of, you know, the ruler is Gemini. The ruling sign of this eclipse is Gemini. The ruling planet is Mercury, and it's in your 12th house of either endings, completions, or past lives, in sextile to how it is that you're making your money with Capricorn. And with Saturn there, and it's a sextile, maybe you're working with your significant other to understand that, okay, I need to let this job go because I need to focus on what I truly value going forward. And I need to make sure that I'm doing the things that I need, want, and desire behind the scenes to make the money that I want to make going forward long term, and what it is that I need to do and how I need to do it. So that's what this eclipse is showing for Sagittarius rising people. Go Sag. So for Capricorn and for Capricorn rising, this full moon is happening in your 6th house. So this full moon, this is a culmination or a completion of some type of work that you're doing out in the world, or this is your daily routines are definitely, you need to change them up. There's something that's happening here. There's something that's not quite, we don't have the full picture yet, right? Because when eclipses happen, it's not necessarily, you don't have all the information that you need to make an informed decision. So this could be that something happens with your job, with your employees, with your daily routines, with your health even. This could be something, this could be you letting go of, because it is a lunar eclipse, letting go of something that no longer serves you with your daily routines, letting go of something that no longer serves you with your health regimen or your health routine. This could see you letting go of, you know, the things that you do on a daily basis that don't add value to your life. Because you also have, for Capricorn rising people, you have Scorpio, you have Mercury in Scorpio, and I am having a complete brain fart right now as to where Scorpio is in your chart. This is your 11th house. Scorpio is your 11th house. So this could see you letting go of a job. This could see you letting go of a daily routine, a health habit. This could see a culmination point or a crisis point as well. But it's not going to be too intense with the crisis, because the moon is very close to its apogee, which is at its furthest point. This is more of a logical area of what's happening with the moon. So that being said, you definitely still want to look at what's happening with Mercury in your 11th house, with your friends, with your social networks, with your social status. So there could be maybe you, especially because Saturn rules you and Mercury is in sextile from your 11th house, this could see you working with or relying on your social groups, your friends. This could see you maybe even starting your own business with something to do with the internet even, because, you know, Saturn rules you. It's your first house, sextile up to that 11th house, which is also the internet, but it's the social groups and the people that you surround yourself with by choice. And this eclipse happening down in your 6th house could be you letting go of something, some job. So maybe you have to go to the social groups and see if you can find a new job. And maybe this is you working with someone, maybe you working with a friend in their business, right? So there is that for Capricorn rising people. So for Aquarius and for Aquarius rising, this full moon eclipse is happening in your 5th house. This is fun. This is romance. This is love affairs. This is children. This is play. This is hobbies and things that you love to do just because you love to do them. And this full moon eclipse is happening with the North Node. So, I mean, maybe this is you letting go of outdated ideas of how your romantic partnerships should look, right? Or your romantic love affairs, I should say. Partnerships is more the 7th house, but the 5th house is, you know, maybe this is you letting go of something to do with how you think your kids should act or should be or should, you know, the shoulds, right? They should do this or they should do that. And there's a letting go of that, because this full moon eclipse down in your 5th house is you letting go of outdated beliefs and outdated mindsets of what it is that, you know, you think your kids should do, or you think that your hobbies should be, or you think that your lovers really should act a certain way, and it's not that. So there could be, maybe, because Mercury is the ruler of this eclipse for you and it is your 5th house, maybe there's somebody that you work with that either you declare that you have feelings for this person, or maybe this person declares that they have feelings for you. And this is up in your 10th house. This is, you know, this is at the top of your chart. So this could be someone that you work with. This could be someone that is in your career field with you. And with that sextile to Saturn in your 12th house, this could very well be someone from a past life that shows up to, you know, be that romantic partner for you. It could be something like that. It could be that maybe if it's a hobby or something like that, you decide that you're going to take that hobby and you're going to make it a career, and you're going to work really diligently behind the scenes to make that come to fruition, right? So there's a choice point here, and there's several different ways that it can play out, but those are two of the main ones. And I mean, you're probably going to see a lot. I mean, Aquarius, you're going to have Jupiter and Saturn coming in and conjuncting in your sign here later on in December. So this is definitely a choice point. This is definitely you releasing something from that 11th house and really moving forward with what it is that you truly need, want, and desire, and things that you love to do because you love to do them. And it's going to start with switching up that career that you got going on up in the 10th house in Scorpio. So for Pisces and for Pisces rising, this full moon eclipse is happening in your 4th house, Pisces. There's something that's changing, that's something that's happening in your home behind the scenes. And maybe this is you releasing outdated ways of thinking about family. This is you releasing fears around home and family. This could see you buying a home even, right? Because it is the full moon with the North Node, or this is something you're changing about your home. And the reason you're changing it about your home, and the reason you're making these changes on the home front, or even letting go of something to do with the house, or even selling a house, is because you have Mercury up in your 9th house, making a sextile to your 11th house, making a sextile to Saturn in your 11th house. Wow, man, I need to get my ish together today. Luckily, you're the last sign, Pisces. And I say that with all the love because my moon is in Pisces, so this affects me more on an internal level. So there's something to do behind the scenes with you letting go of something to do with the home, letting go of something to do with your property or your family or your lineage, or even a completion, like something's coming, like maybe you find out that, your sister's not really your sister, you know what I mean? Like, or you find out that the lineage that you come from is not necessarily what it truly is. You have Mercury up in the 9th house of that higher viewpoint in Scorpio, being very discerning, being very, I don't want to say critical because it's not really, but it's very focused, very discerning, very cut and dry and black and white as to what's right, what's wrong, what's going on. And so there's been a revision here because Mercury did go retrograde, but it's in sextile to your 11th house, to Saturn in your 11th house. And so this could see you working with someone from your social groups, with that, maybe someone in your social group changes that higher viewpoint for you and really changes what it is that you think home, family, and property should be. And so it's a letting go of an outdated belief system, and it's coming back into balance. And it's really offering you a chance to make that choice as to what to do with that 4th house. And it's going to be, be cognizant. It is a choice point, and it's going to be a long-lasting choice. And it's going to either take time and effort, or it's going to take a long time to make the change that either you want to make or that happens. Because it is an eclipse, and you have a choice. You can either roll with it, you can make the decision that you're going to get creative and make changes or do different things. So, or you can go kicking and screaming with the changes. Anyway, not necessarily what Pisces is about. Pisces is very much adaptable and mutable, and you roll with the punches anyway. But this this eclipse, especially with Scorpio and Capricorn, with the ruler of the eclipse in Scorpio, it's very much fixed. It's very much, you know, you're kind of stuck in this, in a way of being, but that sextile to Saturn is changing things too, as well as this eclipse, and you're really getting a deeper understanding of what it is to have friends, like who your friends are, who your friends truly are, and the people that you want to connect with that are going to be long lasting, and the people that you want to come together with will be long lasting and will have an effect on your view of life, God, universe, you know, the world around you. So that is the forecast for Pisces. So I hope that you all enjoyed this. If you like this video, please like it, please share it, please subscribe. If you have any comments, anything like that, please let me know down below in the comment section, and stay safe. See you soon.